shared out. So welcome everyone
Right.
to We'll Decide Wednesday. This is a special feature of the Do Better podcast. I'm Dr. Megan Miller.
And I'm Joe Smith.
How does We'll Decide Wednesday work, Joe?
All right. So We'll Decide Wednesday. We have a wheel, of course. But on this wheel, we have multiple different topics that we are discussing. So some of them are more behavior analytical in nature. Some of them are just fun and silly and a good conversation to talk about. However, the difference is, though, Megan and I only have 2.5 minutes to talk, which is really difficult for us to do. If you know me, if you know Megan, we are talkers and we can keep going on talking about a subject. So it's nice to have this type of parameter that we have to, abide to, just because if not, I really don't think people on Wednesdays want to hear us talk for about 2 hours about random stuff.
Yeah. So, or maybe they do. I don't know.
Maybe. If
I
you
saw
want
Leslie.
to,
I was just going to say, I saw Leslie join. Welcome, Leslie. So one of the other things with We'll Decide Wednesday, if you are watching us live or listening to the podcast, we welcome people to submit their own topics for us to add to the wheel. So if you have any ideas for topics, feel free to drop those on the Facebook comments or send them over email to megan@lifetribe.us, and we will add those. People who submit topics, if your topic comes up on the wheel, you earn some Do Better swag. So that will be exciting for you to receive in your mailbox right now while we're all still stuck at home. Did you have something to say, Joe?
Yeah, and I want to say that swag is pretty cool too, and it's very, very hard to get.
Yeah,
so,
we don't have it anywhere right now. So
yeah.
Yes, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and spin the wheel. And we did decide, it's been a while since we've done a Do Better shout out. So if that comes up, we definitely will cover that
We
one
will
tonight.
do it. Okay.
I feel like I'm so sick about talking about COVID, but all right. So the topic is how to increase safe behavior during COVID. So we had some conversations in a previous We'll Decide Wednesday where we talked about some mask wearing, I think. So we'll go ahead and decide from like a behavior analytic standpoint, what are some things maybe we could try to do to get people to be more safe. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to, Joe?
I will let you go first.
All right, sounds good. Let me get my timer up. My phone stopped asking me if I wanted to set a timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know why.
Because you probably set a timer for Taylor.
Yeah, probably I did. Okay, so if anyone has thoughts on this topic, feel free to share those in the chat as well as we're talking. So increasing safe behavior during COVID, I think one of the things that I thought about just initially, even in March, when things were first starting, is how nice it would be to have different ways to promote whatever responding we're needing to see. So I think having, whether it's restaurants that offer discounts to people who come in, now it's mandated in most places, but I thought like initially if restaurants or businesses like gave some sort of discount if they saw you engaging with like your mask worn properly, or if you were washing your hands, or any of those types of things that we'd want to see increase, keeping that 6-foot distance, all of those types of things. I think having, instead of like the government being like, you must do this, because we all know people backlash against that. And even having businesses saying, you must do this, instead just like a catch 'em being good type thing would be helpful. And I was picturing like an app or something where like you could even like log points or something somehow. Like I do Diet Bet, and you have to like weigh yourself and take a picture, and there's someone that verifies it. So you could have, this would take a lot more to do, but somebody could develop an app, and like you take a selfie of your picture somewhere at a restaurant or out in public somewhere, there's a verification person that's like, yep, you did that. Here's 100 points. You cash in the points for discounts at restaurants or places that have signed up to do that, you know? So it's not so, you know, sometimes it can be embarrassing even if like you're engaging in proper behavior and someone comes up to you at a restaurant and they're like, here's your 20% off for wearing a mask, you know, that might not be as reinforcing for some people. And you would still run into the issue of people being around that are like, oh, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
See that happen and be like, well, that's unfair. And then you get that whole like other counter control type thing. So if it's more of like a game, and we all saw how popular like Pokemon Go was, right? So you could set up challenges, right? Of like, show yourself doing these safe behaviors in these spots and like you get bonus points. Like there's so much that could be done that's more free operant based that allows the learner to choose like what safe behaviors they're going to engage in and how, and then reward that. So I have more thoughts, but my time is up.
All right. Wow. You really did think about this quite a bit. Oh man, I'm not gonna be
Why'd
able
you
to
let me
top
go
that.
first this time?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to top that. Just let you know. But all right, so it's now time for me. So I'm gonna start my timer and go. All right, so for me, I like the idea of having some antecedent interventions in place that maybe increase the likelihood of us have more safety measures in place. So, for example, maybe we could have more hand sanitizer stations throughout a store. I like the idea of even stores providing masks for those who don't have masks. Just so then it just gives you a little bit more. Is like, hey, this is the expectation. Here's a mask. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a mask. Also, maybe I like the idea of having some apps. Like we are so heavily influenced by technology now that proper mask wearing with an app is a really cool idea. I think a step further is that we could create an app that's specifically like social media based, but you get points or influence points for doing the right thing safety wise. And then the more followers you have and the more points you get, then the more access to people or just maybe even access to like video game rewards too that you can use. But of course not everyone's going to be motivated by that, so maybe it would be cool to see an app that comes out with like a preference assessment to see what you're motivated by, and then the app automatically puts you with a group of people based on what your preference assessment is, which I think would be really cool and would also alleviate the issue with like, not everyone wants to say, hey, you're doing a great job with like wearing that mask appropriately. Some people would be like, I don't want that. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the Mexican chips. That's why I'm here. So I'm thinking about Mexican because I'm really in the mood for Mexican, obviously.
I would love some Mexican food right now. Yeah, so I think, we kind of both had like similar ideas around it, especially those antecedent interventions would be helpful as well.
Yeah.
One of the other things, I posted it on my Dr. Megan Miller Facebook page, and I can't get it to like come up properly on their website right now, but there's an aquarium here, the Florida Aquarium. It's in Tampa, and they are doing this. They have like a seal on their website that says the Florida Aquarium has infection prevention approval by Tampa General Hospital, and they have this little seal, and it on my phone I was able to like click on it, but I can't on their website, but it takes you to the page that explains it. And basically like USF Health and Tampa General Hospital team together to like, you know, they have some sort of process in place where they're acknowledging entities that are engaging in sanitary practices. So the Florida Aquarium is one of those. And I'm sure it wasn't free, but I do think that like having something like that, like having some sort of seal for like, as a consumer, I would feel much more comfortable going to the Florida Aquarium than one of the other aquariums here in Florida that doesn't have that, right? So like, that's really helpful to see. I wish more of that was happening too. Have you seen anything like that in Virginia?
No, I haven't at all, which is a bummer.
Yeah. So I was hoping for more of that to happen, but you know, maybe it'll be coming. And it's funny too, because COVID or not, like we do, like obviously there's health inspections and things like that that restaurants have to go through, but wouldn't it be nice to know a bit more about how places are staying safe? I mean, flu season happens every year, colds happen every year. Like it sure would be nice to know like where healthier practices are happening that like you have less of a risk of getting sick in general. So hopefully some of these things will carry over.
Like John Kerensky's good news. I love that. Like he talks about nothing but good news or positivity. That could be like a thing for news, like to follow that suit. Like, hey, who is following the protocols? Not focus on, oh, these people in Florida were having a huge party and now like, you know, half of them have COVID, you know?
Yeah.
Let's focus on the people that are doing the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Leslie said we need Taylor Swift, Brad Pitt, all the cool people. It's funny, like Taylor Swift and Brad Pitt in a sentence together, but to say wear and mask as like an Instagram or TikTok challenge for wearing masks, and then they could get like swag or rewards for stuff. I think that would be helpful. I know like early on there was some influencers that started like doing things, but it seemed like it kind of died out. And I think like, I don't know, we could make a whole podcast episode on this topic. So I'll stop talking.
Yeah. TikTok. So she said about a TikTok challenge, which I love. Yeah. So I think that what we could do is we could start a movement, Megan. We can do.
I've already started one. I'm pretty busy with it.
You're pretty busy. I know.
You start this one.
I was thinking of, Leslie was saying TikTok challenge. I can think of, you know, I can just imagine us doing the Do Better masking challenge.
Yeah.
Where we have in the background, we have Savage Love playing that song that goes da 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 da.
Joe even knows the dance. Look at that.
I do. I was going to do it for my students, just as an incentive when we were doing virtual learning, but at the same time wearing a mask properly.
Yeah.
So I think that would be kind of cool. And then maybe it would catch on. Who knows?
Maybe you start it. Let me know.
All right, I will.
Before TikTok is like fully banned or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching tonight. Before we go, does anyone have any new topic suggestions or additional ideas around how to promote safe behavior during COVID? Trish says, make the TikTok now. She needs incentives.
Trish, you can come to the office and we can do it together. How about that? Because Trish is in Virginia Beach too.
Yep.
So.
And then Joshua just posted a fun thing with the mask with John Kerry or Jim Carrey. Who's John Kerry? What? Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. Like I love Jim Carrey, by the way.
I haven't watched a Jim Carrey thing in a long time.
Well, he hasn't been making much. He hasn't been making a whole lot of movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week for our next We'll Decide Wednesday. Again, if you think of any topics between now and then, feel free to comment on the Facebook, or you can send me an email at megan@lifetribe.us. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.